3 Points of Articulation podcast. Hello, welcome to the 3 Points of Articulation podcast, and we are back to 3 this week. Guess who's back? Back again. Adam's back, the wrestling man. How are you doing?
Yeah, 3 is a good number, a lucky number. Lucky for you boys.
And speaking of back, we've got the Flashback, Jonathan Fenton.
Hey, yo, back, but not feeling great, but I've still turned up.
That's the important thing, as long as you're here. Let's crack on with some news straight away then, boys, shall we? So we'll be back in 2 seconds. News World Order time now, and let's fire straight across to our resident Trev McDonald, Jonathan Fenton.
Not even a slight introduction there, Jimmy, but yeah, biggest news the last 2 weeks, I would say, is the release of the Jungle Express 2-pack from Ringside Collectibles. So this will come in 2 variants as well. There's one with Jungle Boy on the shoulders of Luchasaurus and one with Luchasaurus on the shoulders of Jungle Boy. So good figures, I think. I don't know why they've done 2 different packaging for this. I don't think Jungle Boy ever carried Luchasaurus to the ring.
I might be wrong, but I think when they very first started in AEW, they did a couple of things where he tried to pick him up. So it could be on that kind of thing.
I mean, part of me hopes that it was a factory error to start with, and they just run with it. Is what I hope for, but possibly not. But they are called Jurassic Express, not Jungle Express, Jonny. Just to clarify.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, mine's not working too well today, but yes, that's what it is. Have any of you bought it or pre-ordered?
No.
No, although it does look amazing. I'm not going to take anything away from the figure. The one with Luchasaurus on the bottom looks much better than the other one. The other one's slightly weird in the positioning, which could be done because obviously he's struggling to hold him, but I doubt it was. So the normal version is definitely better. It is something I will probably pick up, but I'm going to wait and see first.
Yes, so it's going to get all those AEW completists buying 2 or 3 versions like this mug. I pre-ordered 3 different versions from 2 different stores. So yeah, brilliant.
It's it's quite a pricey one for me. I've seen them 55, 60 quid for the normal one and 60 plus for the variant. It's a lot, I think.
I had this deal with WrestleBox where I bought a voucher. It was pretty much I paid £100 for the voucher, which gave me £200 credit.
Oh yeah, saw that.
I've used the money on that. I believe I picked them two boxes up for 110. So in normal terms, I paid 55 quid for 2 of them.
Yeah, it's good that.
Don't go wrong.
Probably still worth more than they're actually worth, I imagine.
Maybe.
We'll see. Have you? Adam, what have we got for us?
I'm going to go for the latest Micro Brawler to be out. And on the heels of Dark Side of the Ring, the Brian Pillman episode that's just come out, I'm only halfway through that, so don't spoil it, please. The loose cannon Brian Pillman has been released. $19.99 plus post and customs and all that stuff if you get in it. 1 week only. So it's really tied into the Dark Side of the Ring. It's the same deal as they have usually with these ones. It's a pre-order only. So once they've gone and the week's over, there are no more going to be made. Seems to work for them.
I think this is the best way of selling figures. I honestly do. It's just a case of demand, and you're just basing the numbers on how much demand there is, and everyone gets an equal opportunity to get it. I think it works perfectly.
And
the more we talk about it, the more I like it.
Yeah, it stops the scalpers as well, doesn't it? I think there's not a limited amount because essentially it's unlimited for a week, isn't it? they're going to make how much you pre-order. So yeah, it's the best way to do figures that I've seen. I know Super 7 do a similar thing.
And it's a good version of Pillman. I quite like that. It represents that time where he was the loose cannon very well, and it comes with the cane and the vest and the top, and yeah, looks as it should be.
Yeah, we've talked about micro brawlers. They're only good if they're toyetic and if they display a lot of different features on them, and this one definitely does. Still not worth 20 quid plus shipping for me, but it's a good one.
Yeah, I agree on the pricing.
The Dark Side episode's quite good as well, but I won't spoil it for you, Adam. I'm sure you know how it ends, but I won't spoil it for you. Lovely. Right, so more news. Jonny, should we fire across back to you?
Yeah, if we stick with no, we won't stick with. We'll go to Cello Toys, and they have released their newest venture. And I think my first response was a post on the Legion of Hasbro group page. Who the F is this guy? And this guy is Joy Knight. I believe he's a Canadian wrestler, independent, and he's done a few things in the wrestling world, including, being part of, I think it was The Undertaker's entrance at WrestleMania, and he was in the movie with about Paige. So he's got a few credits to his name, but nope, never heard of him. It's a bizarre choice, but I don't know what the deal is. Maybe that he contacted them and said, I'll put X amount up front and, I'll sell some stock for you, that type of deal. I wish I knew more, but seems to be something along those lines.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think if it's on your bucket list to do, and you've got the money to do it, I think you could certainly do it that way. I'd say that makes the most sense, is that he contacted Cheddar and said, yeah, if we put X amount up and so on, available to buy. Because there are collectibles, aren't they? You've seen it with the Meanie figures and the guy that comes with him. People are going to buy it just because they want to be completists with it, really. And technically, this comes under the same banner.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that. I didn't know if it was real, to be honest, or not. I didn't know if the guy was real at first. And yeah, it all seems legit. And I guess a lot of different people might start doing that if it is a kind of money from them upfront jobby. We could see a lot of the lesser known people.
Like us.
No.
Well, I don't know about us, but you could. I think if you're going to go lesser known people, you want to go back to the 80s and get your Special Delivery Jones or those sort of guys into it. Good jobbers, which is going to lead us on to the next news from Zombie Sailor, who's also going down the jobber route and picked up Barry Horowitz. So he's the next one in the Zombie Sailor line. I believe I just read in his Twitter that it's about filling in the blanks where Hasbro didn't, produce a figure. In fact, Barry Horowitz has never had a figure produced from any company.
Crazy.
It's a perfect way of doing that. Absolutely perfect, because that's what a collector will want. That's what somebody who loves that era will want. Perfect.
Yep, I want it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes. I'd love a Whippleman figure next. Would be great, but have to wait and see on those.
Yeah, I think managers is probably the next logical way to go with Zombie, especially if he's going down the late 80s to early 90s route and filling in those gaps.
Definitely. Now some podcast news for us. We're on the website. We've got Pop Culture Wrestling. The 3 points of articulation are on there, both videos and audio. So make sure you go and check it out. It's a very fun website. It has all the different news and reviews and so on. So it's all good to be on that website for us, really, which is always good. But back to figure news. Anything from you guys?
I've got one from FOCO. Can one of you enlighten me on what that stands for? I have no idea.
Nope.
Not down.
They've released an Ultimate Warrior bobblehead. It is really toyetic to look at. The head's obviously slightly bigger as per bobbleheads. There's a ring. There's an Ultimate Warrior custom ring mat with the ring. He's holding the ropes, so obviously the head would work when he's holding the ropes like that. It sounds amazing. What doesn't sound amazing is the $60 price tag that is on it. It's not like it's made to look perfectly like him. It's meant to be a cartoony representation of it. So to stick a $60 price tag on that is unbelievable.
That is absolutely unbelievable. You're right. You sent us a picture of this last night in hoping that we're talking about it. My comment was just going to be that it's tat. It's just one of those things that you don't really want, and you may, on a whim, spend £5 on it. $60? No bloody way.
I could imagine it sitting on my windowsill and it'd look great. It'd look cartoony, it'd look fun, but that's all it is, like you say. A lot of people would describe that as tat, as just something you pick up because you want to spend your spending money.
Yeah, it's Secret Santa worthy, I'd say. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, 5-10 quid's worth, not $60. Even if it was $60 Australian, it would still be a lot of bucks. Which, yeah.
I mean, to put the other side, like I was saying, you can tell there's been a lot of effort gone into it. With the fact that the ring is there, with the fact that the custom ring mat design it's nice. The fact that he's holding the ropes and his head will bobble when he holds the ropes, it makes complete sense, and they've put a lot of thought into it, but not for $60.
I mean, I have heard of Foco before, and they do sell other bobbleheads, I believe. I've only really heard on another podcast who, Foco sponsors them, so I just know that they sell the bobbleheads. I've never actually checked them out, but I don't think it's only the Warrior that's available. I think they've got a whole line of them.
Yeah, I've seen like a Macho Man, a Taker, and a few others, only from their Twitter page on there. But this was about a year ago, so I imagine they've probably released loads more since. But $60, I'll go over that.
Yes.
No. Anything else, Jonny?
I don't know anymore.
Lovely stuff. Brilliant. Well, let's end on the bobblehead high then, shall we? We'll be back in a second with our weekly pick-me-ups. Adam's got 2 weekly pick-me-ups as well, so I'm sure he's locked and loaded. Back in a sec. Pick me ups time now. We're looking at all of our recent pickups since the last episode. Adam's probably got a backlog there, so why don't you start us off, Adam?
Indeed. I'll start with my Facebook pickups so that I don't forget the names of the people that I bought them from, which is my only reason. So first of all, going on my tag team route, but a little bit different this week. Fred Rowley, who's also in the Fantasy Wrestling League, was selling some heavy crate figures. So I thought they might fit with my micro brawlers. So I'll have a quick buy because it was nice and cheap. And the main 2 that I picked it up for were Mustache Mountain, which are the heavy crate figures. They come in a nice little presentation box as well. They do match size-wise with the micro brawlers, so I'm quite happy about that. Obviously, not exactly the same style, but they're pretty nifty. I quite like them. I mean, we were talking earlier for a kind of spending money pickup, and that's my spending money pickup of the last couple of weeks. Any of you boys got any of the crates, or do you subscribe to any or anything like that?
No, I would say that getting a wrestling crate is the biggest waste of money you could ever do in your life. What a load of rubbish that stuff is.
Well, that's nice. In Johnny's opinion, just to clarify, these are not facts. But I agree. Yeah, I think you have better ways of spending 35, 40 quid. What I ended up doing is seeing it on the secondary market, didn't you? Is the stuff. But no, I haven't got any of the micro brawlers. Some of them do look quite good. The Pete Dunne one, as an example, looks really good that came up recently.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I'm never going to sign up to because I'm not a big surprise fan and I'm not a big kind of just sheet of paper fan, which goes against my next item completely, but I'll continue babbling. But yeah, there's too much from the independents and stuff like that for me. Too many people that I don't know about. But pieces of paper lead me on to my next one. We've been buying from Chella Toys recently, so I picked up a nice signed design from Brian Tipping Jr. which is the Magnus design. I thought it'd be nice, and I got him to sign it to the 3POA.
Oh,
So
cheeky.
our first signed little roll-up. I'm not a big signature fan and stuff like that, but I just thought it'd be a nice one for the future, that for my display behind it.
Do you know what? This could be the best purchase you've ever made. Imagine if Cella Toys, imagine if Brian Tippin Jr., and imagine thirdly, the 3 Points of Articulation podcast is huge in 10 years' time. That'll be worth a fortune.
Yeah. Probably
Imagine
crumpled up somewhere.
Yeah, imagine if all three got big, and then it'd be triple the money, wouldn't it?
Literally what John just said.
Oh, I thought you said all. But yeah.
All of us. Otherwise, it's...
Otherwise, yeah, if one leg fails, then they all fail. Right. He's got quite a lot as Brian Tippin Jr. in this podcast. Maybe we should try and get him on for an interview one time.
Yep.
That'd be Brian. Brian, Jonny, let's go to you.
Yeah, we'll stick with Cella, and as I alluded to before, I did pre-order the Mini, and I got 2 of them because I was doing a mint on card and a loose collection. So he's the one that I'm going to do as a loose, and I'm going to open it right now, as is tradition. So, Adam, you've got it there. What do you think of the packaging?
I'll wait until you've finished, as long as you're getting it open, because I've got quite a lot to say about this one.
I think we're waiting a while, but look at Johnny's face. Look at him, he's struggling there, isn't he?
There is the Mini, star of the show. Then you got generic man in suit with microphone. I think the Mini is quite good, actually. It surprised me how it feels, you know, compared to the Aldous. The arm isn't coming off at all, which is good. And it's kind of the same with this guy as well. He's quite sturdy compared to Aldous, and it's a bit better. Head is rubbish on this one, though. Not that I really know what it looks like compared to the box. They did a good job. I think it's a better scan than Aldous, at least. Go on.
Yeah, I think the heads really make it. So if you look at Meany's head, it's much smaller than Josh, is it? Than his, which kind of puts it in line with it. If you look at the kind of from chin to forehead ratio, it's smaller for me. Yeah.
It seems to be more wider from the back, if anything. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But
for me, I bought this the moment it came out on pre-order. So I was expecting big things. My card is absolutely horrific. There's a massive crease up here, all the way up. There's a massive crease from Josh's head all the way up there. I know they had some problems with the card. It was beautifully delivered, so it was nothing about the delivery. It was really well packaged, so which means that person who has packaged my figure has chosen to give me this one, even though I wasn't one of the people who paid £5 less for a dodgy card. Thus ends my buying of Cella figures. Not happy at all. So that's it for me.
I'm in the same line of thinking. I ordered 2, and both of them were bent, and the cards were sort of, you know, rounded. They weren't straight at all. So, and obviously I paid for the normal version. I didn't even see there was a damage option. So I believe this has come from whoever, you know, if it produced in China, they've been packed that way on the way to Cella, and they've just arrived that way for the most part, which is no good really for the collectors who want a mint card.
No, is that I saw the website. I think it was after they released them just before they come out deliveries. Anyway, they had the option of the damaged card. I think it was 20 quid for the damaged card. I thought about it, and then I thought this one wasn't very good. But yeah, it is a pet hate that they would see a card, still package it really well, even though it's as damaged as that one.
It's just not acceptable, really. There's so much damage on this card. It's like 3 or 4 different areas, and it's so visible. There's no way of missing it, which means that the person who's done it has known that, there should be like an email with it or something saying, really sorry, they've arrived. This is a bit of damage. Here's a gift voucher. Here's £5 to spend with us next time. Something like that. It's really bad customer service.
A lot of what Chella's doing recently is very off-putting, I got to admit. And I think that the Joy Knight, sorry, no offense, Joy, but that signing is kind of the tip of the iceberg almost. And you got the damaged packaging. I've noticed on the social media they can't spell or write correctly, which is, for me, it's not a problem, but it's like, it's a bit, who's running this? Because it said brought instead of bought.
Yeah.
That's a numb thing to do. And the
packaging, that's not good.
No excuse.
Yeah. To end with a positive on it, the Blue Meanie figure is about as good as I could have imagined it. It's a really nice figure. I will probably open this now because there's absolutely no point in keeping it on card. So I will stick the Blue Meanie up with my probably my custom Hasbro's up there.
Yeah, I mean, before I admit, the Blue Meanie figure has impressed me a little bit. So it's got me, still on that fence a little bit. But I have not done any pre-orders since. I don't have Ethan Page pre-order. I don't even have Dynamite Kid, who being someone I would really want as well. I think I need to see it first.
Yeah.
I bet you're glad that you brought those then.
I bought them.
Adam, should we go back to you and see what else you've brought?
Can do. I'll do the next couple. First one is one that you guys showed last week on the pod. Good episode, by the way. I did watch it. And it's the one that Jono showed, which is the NXT Women's title. Won't harp on about that because I think you guys spoke about it perfectly last time. The other one is a bit of a different one. I made a purchase from Topps, the card collector. And they did a best of British set. I do like my trading cards. I've never really grown out of them. I don't like buy them loads and loads. I mainly buy them to put in my eBay packages as a nice little freebie for customers. But these ones are for me. So it's a best of British package. Came in a lovely little presentation box. And the good thing about this was that you got a guaranteed signed card in it, which obviously value-wise is really good. There was like one of 100s, one of 50s, blah, blah, blah. It continues on. I managed to get a one of 25 Drew McIntyre signed card. There's already one on eBay for £124. I very much doubt that it will go for that, but I am watching it intently, just in case. A couple of people were lucky to get a one of one as well of certain characters. The Drew McIntyre is on eBay, one of one for £400 at the moment.
Oh.
Crazy, these card collectors, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's Go
on, Joe. I was going to do a terrible joke and say it's claim more than I would pay for it, but no, you carry on. It wasn't even worth it.
Speaking of cards, there's been this all these hype about the 1997 Cardinal trivia game, and on a whim, I seen it on eBay last Saturday, I believe, for 30 quid. It was described as the full set. Or I doubt it is. And it just arrived in the intro. So it's here. And I don't particularly want to look inside just to see. I think this guy's took out the Rocky Maivia cards and things. And
Rock, Triple H, and Undertaker, I think, are the biggies.
So why don't we have a look while I'm here and see what's there and see what's not.
If that's there, you've got an absolute bargain.
I know that, but I'm very skeptical. So I'll just look through myself. Taught as you were. So who did you say there was? Rocky Maivia?
Oh, hey, that's the one that you want. That's it. You don't need to look any further. I mean, Undertaker and Triple H have a bit of value as well, but that is the daddy.
Well, I think I've stumbled on something good here then. Owen Hart, Stone Cold, I think's another one.
Yeah, it's all the big boys, really.
Looking for the rookie cards and things like that. So, and they're in pretty mint condition as well.
Wow. You filthy mint.
Well purchase. Didn't expect this one.
That's amazing.
And all boxed, all the cards don't even look like they've been played with and things like that as well. So
there's a lot of people looking for them on eBay at the moment as well. So that is a very lucky purchase and obviously skillful.
It is, and I'm kind of really very skeptical because I thought, there's all this thing going around about these cards, and I would say a lot of collectors know about it now, to the point where I thought he bought this complete, took out the cards that are worth the money, then sold it afterwards. But nope, it seems that it's all there. Ka-ching.
I'm surprised you managed to nab it.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take that chance, Jamie.
Indeed. Should we move on over to me?
Can do.
I've been hitting the old nostalgia train recently, so I picked up some VHS tapes that arrived earlier this week, which are quite fun. I won't go through all of them because there is quite a lot, but we've got some good old fashioned Rumble '93 there, SummerSlam 1990, and so on. So we sort of got a lot of the biggies on here. WrestleMania 6, complete with Roddy Piper versus Bad News Brown match, in case anyone wanted to watch that. But sort of picked up with about 20, 25 videos in there, and also through the DVD as well of that one, Monday Nitro Best of. But
good DVD that.
Gosh, looks all right. Yeah. But as I said before, I think when I have my little toy room, I like to have a VHS display around the top of the wall, maybe a little VHS TV combo in the middle of it, just to sort of get that Silver Vision logo loaded up again, just for a bit of cheeky bit of nostalgia. So I thought I'd pick some videotapes up before they get hot.
Before they get hot, what do you know?
I think there's going to be a big surge in them. Not big as in they're going to be 25 quid of VHS, but I think they're going to go up by a couple of quid. We're getting that age now where people my age that used to watch a lot of VHSs are starting to get well-paid jobs. So I think we're looking at a little bit of a VHS boom.
I think those people have already grown up and got well-paid jobs before that, Jamie. You're not the oldest pup in the game of VHS.
No, I know, but sometimes they're one of the youngest pups in the game, which means that people that are my age are starting to come into it again now. But I say VHS, like the WrestleMania, the old ones, I think they will be going up. Only a couple of quid each, but there's a couple of quid saving and job done.
I can see the appeal. I mean, if I have considered getting a couple in the past just for visual display purposes, but it is only the really iconic ones that I would like to get. The WrestleMania 4 because it was the double box one, the Battle Royal at the London Albert Hall, and I think you've got the Rumble '93 there, which I just really liked packaging when I was little. But getting 20 to 30 is probably quite a lot.
Yeah, I would get them for display purposes, like you said, and I think they might look well at the WrestleMania 1 to 8, I think, which was all purple and uniform. But once they changed, and that was it. It's kind of like the Mattel figures. That's why I don't buy them mint on card for Mattel, because they always change the packaging and it just looks a bit daft when displayed that way.
Yeah, definitely. I think the plan is to have them all displayed. So the WrestleManias next to each other. It's just to try and recreate the blockbuster displays to have when I was a kid. So, well, not when I was a kid, but we used to go to. So you'd see all the corners of the VHSs all lined up. So I quite like to have that again, just have all the VHSs lined up and bigger little visual display, basically, was my thinking behind it.
Fair enough. I mean, to be fair, 18 years ago or so, I used to go every Wednesday at the Hartlepool to look around the market, see what WWF VHSs they had in, and it was maybe the highlight of the week. Sometimes picked them up, sometimes didn't, but it was a really good, always a thrill of the hunt when you actually do find one.
Thursday morning Preston car boot sale for me.
Oh, I was never lucky enough to be brought to any. But, I mean, as I said to you before, Johnny, that doesn't bring you any form of nostalgia. That VHS tape with that blue strip on the top.
The videotape doesn't, the boxes maybe do.
I don't know. When I opened one and I saw that, I was like, that is early 90s in a nutshell for me. But yeah, there was no midweek car boots for me. It was Sunday at Denim car boot sale for me when I was younger.
Aye, those were the days.
Back to you, Adam, I think.
Yeah, I've got a couple left. Let's start with my first one. I'll do two at once. Smith's pickups, these ones are. So first one is the Series 85 Carrion Cross. My review of this figure is that it's garbage. It's nice and simple. The face is absolutely terrible on it. And it's just, I mean, the tattoos are nice and they're colourful and stuff, but yeah, it's rubbish, to be honest. I was quite shocked how rubbish it was. And going more of a positive than that one, I picked up the Karma Mustafa. They haven't actually gone out in the pre-orders yet, but I actually went to Smith's and picked this one up. It was the last one on the shelf. I'm sure they've got lots more in different Smiths. This one is very good. The face isn't perfect. It isn't 100% accurate to Karma, but there's enough about it. The thick gold chains, the writing design, you know, it's a really good, different one with the boots. The boots are very different. They've got a flap on the top of them, which I haven't seen before. Might be wrong, but I've not personally seen it. Jamie, I believe this one belongs to you, does it? Unless Jono's already sent you one for winning our little bets.
He hasn't sent me one. No, he sent me something different, which we'll cover in a second. But yeah, unless you want to get one ordered from Smith's and send it to me if you wanted it, I'm more than happy to.
No, my pre-order has not arrived yet, so I'm still expecting one myself. But I picked this one up so I could send it to your good self.
Oh, thanks. Well, top man.
Do you think we should explain why we are buying Jamie some presents?
Yes, he won the predictions. We do 4 annually. I don't know what the proper word for that. Predictions.
Quarterly.
Yes, quarterly. That's the one. Going up to the big 4 WWE pay-per-views, and Jamie won the Route to WrestleMania one.
I did. Well, we covered NXT, AEW, and WWE. It wasn't a flawless victory. I think I had a bit of sweaty moments around the NXT one of the takeovers, but yeah, it's good fun. Jonny won the last one. I've won this one, so it's your turn next, Adam.
Not very good at these.
No. Adam's been bottom 3 times, I guess. Not twice, sorry. What am I talking about? Anyway, back onto your prize then, Jamie. Let's show me what you got from myself.
From yourself? Well, let's go on to my BCA corner then. And we've got Brock Lesnar and Jack Quillin. So the Brock Lesnar Bone Crunching or Backlash series, which is convenient for this time of year, sent forward by Wrestling Figure Legends, or aka Jonny.
Wrestling Figures.
Yeah, that's the one. And we got Jack Quillin, who so I needed from the Signature series. I definitely needed a Jack Quillin in my life. I mean, the Jack Quillin one is one of the worst BCA figures. It's not a BCA for a start, but it's one of the worst figures. But I needed it in my collection because it's nice to have on display.
Yeah, when I picked that Brock Lesnar up, I didn't realize the value of it. But you know, it's worth more than the Karma though. So I think you got a good little deal there.
Yes.
All right.
It's not all about value for me. I think it's more about getting Brock Lesnar. He's definitely on my list. So when you suggested it, I was more than happy to get. Even when I saw you pick it up, I was like, that's annoying because that's a expensive one, that is. But Brock and I think Hogan is also in the 20s of pounds as well.
I'll look out.
But yeah, good tattoo, if I'm honest. Good tattoo detail.
Yeah, quite a lot of detail in that.
Just
Been pretty good.
Yeah. Not Brock Lesnar's rookie figure, by the way, either. It's just one come out just after the King of the Ring one, I believe, in 2002. So one after that. Should we stick with me as soon as we've discussed the BCAs?
Well, I was going to ask you about Brock Lesnar because I'm quite interested now. Was that a Titantron or was it Ruthless Aggression?
A Titantron.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Titantron figure. The Ruthless Aggression one come, I think, 2003 they debuted. Whereas the Lesnar come out late 2002 to the King of the Ring one.
Just wasn't sure if he had the Titantron or not, but yeah, there you go.
I'm not sure if it actually had the metal on the feet or not, but it was Titantron style, should we say, anyway. But it definitely had the, what was that? Do you know the style I mean? With the, you know what I mean? The sort of skinnier body without the magnet on the feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same body, but no electronics to it.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Right, so let's stick with BCA land then, and shout out to Wrestling Megastore. I've never ordered them with them before. I'll be honest, I was a bit cheeky. I saw that someone had put one of the groups looking for this Dan 7 figure, and I was like, oh, I also need that Dan 7 figure. And the guy who owns Wrestling Megastore was like, oh, we have a Megastore, went over there and bought it before the guy got a chance. So apologies to that guy. But yeah, I got a Dan 7 Jakks PCA. Not Tom Selleck, because the missus thought it was. I've paired him up with a Samoa Joe Mattel little towel until I got a Jakks one come in. Yeah, lovely figure.
Did he not originally come with that sweaty grey shirt?
No, surprisingly not on the Jakks BCL. Because I checked as well. The first thing I checked was the one that come with the grey sweaty top. But there wasn't.
Confusing UFC figure.
There was a UFC Dan 7 figure that came with a sweaty towel. I think a belt, I believe.
I've definitely seen that sweaty shirt somewhere.
Yeah, well, fine. Maybe it was a custom. I also picked up a Kurgan whilst I was there. Very good Kurgan figure. And I also got a couple of Steve Williams, one known as Steve Austin and Dr. Death. I got a cleaner version than my other one. The Steve Austin was £1.50, so that's always a good one to get. But they're nice and clean.
Pretty clean, but they're both absolutely rubbish, those two.
Hey, there's enough of that. I was there and I thought, well, I'm paying £6 postage. I might as well add on to there. So yeah, I did on Dr. Death and Steve Austin.
Not your best BCA pickups there, Jamie.
I'm not finished.
All right.
So shout out to Ryan Lawton in the Facebook groups. Dropped into my DMs and said that he had some stomp figures. So I got a Brian Pillman on there, hot topic at the moment. I got a Steve Austin. I got a China. Ignore the fact that I've kept them in their decks to carry a bag. The Undertaker. Someone told you that's Ken Shamrock. It's up for debate. Ahmed Johnson. Got a Crush. And last but certainly not least, I got a Dude Love Jakks BCA figure. But hold on to your horses, because don't slate them too soon. Actually, first of all, what do you think of the stomp line? Because it's terrible, but what do you guys think of it?
I'm going to slate them.
Good. They're awful. Awful, but yeah. Go on, Jonny. Let loose.
No, I just think they're rubbish figures completely, and I don't like really the crossover type figures anyway. So yeah, no good to me. They're just sort of being made famous by the major pod, really, because of their nostalgia for it.
Yeah, I was always gutted when I walked into Toys R Us and there was just shelves full of stomp figures.
Yeah, the reason I picked them up, I mean, they're a good price for a start, but yeah, I think I need them to complete BCAs. They're not technically a BCA, but there's another way to go. Next up, Ahmed Johnson Superstars series on there. Haven't got an Ahmed yet, and I figured why not go for a minty one on there. Yeah.
Are you going to open it? No, it's already open.
Yes, I am. There it is. One of the main reasons why I am in its box is so for the stands, which I keep missing out on the Facebook groups, which is annoying. But yeah, Ahmed Johnson, there he is, looking lovely as ever. Face-wise, it is really bad. Looks nothing like Ahmed or was it Big T, was he called in WCW? But Yeah, need an Ahmed Johnson figure. I'm happy to get that one. What's your guys' view on Ahmed?
Figure or person?
Yeah, take the power of a plunge and let me know how you feel of the figure.
I mean, it's a shame that his career was so bad, because I think there would have been a lot of opportunity to make some good figures from Ahmed Johnson. But you know, he's only got the BCAs, and like you say, it looked absolutely nothing like him.
You know, he could be one of those guys that Zombie Sailor goes after for a toy, just after the Hasbro sort of era. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zombie Sailor picked Ahmed up.
That's going to be quite a decent value. And speaking of decent value, last up we've got the Godwins, which is the once again, I really like these figures, more for nostalgia than anything else. Tried to pick up a Phineas Godwin in the same one that I got when I was my first BCA figure as a child, but sadly the guy cancelled the eBay order as soon as I bought it, which is annoying. But yeah, there's the Godwins was my last pickup on the BCAs for this week.
Yeah, they're nice and toyetic, those. I always liked those Godwin's figures. It's a real shame that the hats don't come off. But you know, they look good.
Yes, not bad for Jakks BC. I'll let you have that one.
Thanks, appreciate it. But yeah, that's it for the Jakks BCAs for me.
Whoa, that was a big BCA corner.
Payday.
Nip in with one that I have picked up. I've had it before and sold it, but I picked up again because I don't know where I'm going with Elite, but I picked up the Flashback Cm Punk. I believe it's the ringside collectibles, not the SES, but this is the one that kind of represents his most earliest run in WWE. So you would say it's the WWE debut Punk. So I'll put him in the later half of my collection. Decent figure. The shirt is rubbish though.
Yeah, it is. It's a decent figure. I think it looks quite Snitsky-esque in the face. I don't think it's perfect CM Punk, but it's a nice figure.
I see what you mean with the little goatee, but as I say, I wasn't really watching back then, but I know this is the earliest incarnation of Punk from Mattel, so I'll pick it up. I'll display it. I can always see it increase in value anyway, so a little investment anyway.
Yeah, it's one that you see on the groups. It's kept its value over the last couple of years, isn't it? Certainly.
Not that was cheap, but yeah, I think I'll probably at least double my money on it if I sold it now.
Well, you've had a good week for profit, then, haven't you? With your cards and your CM Punk.
Yeah, gotta be in the game to win the game, apparently.
Is that saying?
Exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
You got any more, Jamie?
No, I'm all out.
I'll go on my last one then. Story behind this one: I went away for a few days, took the little boy to a caravan, got an email from Royal Mail about delivering an item, so I got it arranged a redelivery to my local post office. Came back yesterday, and the item was in my little boy's like house in the garden, little boy's playhouse in the garden, absolutely wet through, full of slugs. So Royal Mail, thanks very much for that. But I bought this from Fig Pop Shop on a little claim sale that they had on Instagram, and it was perfect inside. They do nice eco-friendly packaging, and obviously it kept the figure nice, so that was good. Which is the WrestleMania 12 Comeback Ultimate Warrior figure. I'd sold my Hall of Fame Ultimate Warrior a few days earlier because I needed some funds basically for the holiday, and not that I instantly regretted it, but I needed a Warrior again straight away, and I managed to pick this up for £33 all in, which I thought was pretty good for this at the time. Facial wise, it's kind of trying to do the face, but it's not quite managed it. But it looks nice in the box. It's a much smaller slimline box than usual, this one.
It looks quite small, that box. I guess that's a new packaging they're going for. Quite like it. and the figure's really good in my opinion. Apparently, it's not completely accurate, but I definitely want this. I'm kind of just waiting on it becoming available from WrestleBox or Fig Pop Shop. I know they did a pre-order, but I missed out on that, and I'll wait for one of those guys to get it, and I'll pick it up when I see it.
The jacket looks like the same material as the I can't even remember what line it is, but the really expensive Ultimate Warrior. What line is that from?
Ultimate
or Defining Moments. Defining Moments.
Yeah, the one with Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior on the back. Yeah. The jacket's exactly the same material as that, which I liked.
The only problem with that is it gets curved sometimes.
It does.
So hopefully it doesn't do that for these ones.
But yeah, I see a few shops have that for pre-order up at the moment. So pre-order/order. So I pre-ordered mine from WrestleBox. So hopefully it should be here soon. To see a lot of places are getting them in from ringside at the moment. So hopefully it should be here soon. But have to wait and see.
Yes, and I've got one more. I know I said 3, but one of those just came in the post, which is the trivia game. But this is my last one. And sticking with the Ultimate Warrior, I've got the Hasbro Talking Ultimate Warrior. Ooh. So this was one of the prizes I could have chose when I won the Legion Hasbro quiz. I could have got this and the Hulk Hogan, but I opted for the MOC Kamala. I picked this up at a pretty good price. I think it was about 35 quid. So not bad. Obviously, with these things, Clark Gilmore told me that basically none of the talking works anymore because of how it is. So this is no different. So I'm not really too worried about that. It's more of a display. So this is what it sounds like. Yep.
Spot on.
But apparently I didn't realize this, and I thought it was quite a good tip, but the seller put on the description that if you hold it and pull it down slowly, it makes a bit more sense. So I'll try and do that. Slightly better, but not perfect.
Sounds like
a nice big display piece.
It sounds like the bad guy from Power Rangers, doesn't it?
Yeah. You just have to get that perfect speed of holding the string back into him.
Lovely. So I didn't realize these existed until probably about a year ago, I'd say.
Yeah, it's just an add-on to the Hasbro collection. It wasn't something that I really needed as such, but I think it was because I seen them in the Legion Hasbro prize realm that I kind of want to pick them up now. So I'll be on the look for the Hulk Hogan next.
Is there just 2?
I believe so, yes.
It's just 2 ups. A lot of people do like custom 2-ups and stuff, don't they? Which are in scale with them. Some of them look really good, actually, the custom 2-ups, but you're looking at 50, 60 quid at least for them.
I really like the look of that. It looks really toyetic, and it looks like it's completely sturdy. And it doesn't look like there's too much rub, like on the nose or anything like that. We usually get that damage with Warrior.
It's not too bad. It's a little bit worn with small parts of the face paint and then a bit on the teeth, but otherwise it's in pretty good condition, to be fair. Just needed a bit more of a clean up.
Lovely. Adam, have you got any more for us?
No, that's it.
We're all out of pick me ups. Lovely. From yes, we're back in a second with our break it down segment. So from say goodbye to our Ahmed for this week's pick me ups. Livid, bless him. No, see you soon.
Break it down, boom, ba boom, ba dum, ba dum, ba ba da ba da ba da boom, boom, ba da ba da ba da ba dum, ba boom.
Break it down time now, and we're discussing graded toys and anything graded as you can get nowadays. First question, boys. Adam, have you ever had anything graded? Have you ever thought about it?
I have not. I've not thought about it for reasons we will discuss during this.
Oh, lovely. And Jonny, same question to you.
And same answers.
Lovely. The same response. So first of all, yeah, graded is, I guess, an extra level of mintiness where you can send a figure, you can send an old game box if you wish to. You can send literally anything to get graded, and they send it back with a lovely little credit case with a little grade in the bottom corner. Where do they get this grade from? We don't know. But Adam, so what's your opinion and what's your view on grading?
So myself, I can't really see any reason why I personally would want something graded. So I've had a quick look at the kind of graded, how they look when they come in the box. So it gives you certain information on it. It tells you what brand it is, like WWF, whatever. Gives you the name of the character, gives you the series of the character, gives you the year of release. It has a little bracket section in case it's like a re-release or anything like that. So it is quite detailed. Gives you an archive number, which is obviously their record. The ones that I've seen then give you 3 different percentages. So it gives you card, bubble, and figure. For if you're doing it on card, obviously, that is. And then kind of gives you an average of those for what percentage it is. Now, my opinion of this is that why would I want to send that to one other person who pretty much would have the same level of knowledge as me? It's not like you can like show too much expertise in this. All you're doing, obviously they will have looked at more packages and more figures than me. I get that. But at the end of the day, it's one person's opinion and I'm one person. So why would I want to send my figure to get one person's opinion when I'm one person? That's what I don't understand about this.
Indeed, there's a lot I don't understand, and we'll just pick up on that bit first. So yeah, that's all it is. It's one person's opinion, or you know, it might have a couple of people and say, "Oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" But it's still the judgment of one business or one company, who, quite frankly, if I'm going to have an opinion on it, unpopular as it may be, they're stealing a living. All they're doing is, you know, putting it in an acrylic box and putting a piece of paper with it, sending it back. I just don't get it to that point. But you know, I could say a bit more on why people do it in the next bit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that obviously I think it's a very weird concept. I think it's essentially my sort of figure's better than your figure, essentially. That's what they're trying to go off. But yeah, it's just a whole weird. I looked into it before, not for anything that I own, just to see what the whole big deal was, and it's quite expensive for some of it to get it graded compared to buying it. It just doesn't really add up for me. But yeah, I mean, what is it you think that people get stuff graded, Adam? Why do you think? Why do they do it?
I mean, like you say, it's a bit of a my figure's better than yours in a sense. If you're going to keep it on a shelf and you want to get it graded, it's literally just so other people can have a look at your figure and go, wow, you've got an 80% graded figure, which is a bit of a, you know, plus point for yourself. Yay, go me type thing. But that's not me. I don't care about that type of stuff, which is why my opinion is that, you know, it's not for me. The only real reason to get this graded is to increase it in price. That is the only reason. Again, I mean, you just picked up on the fact that you said it's expensive, Jamie. It's actually much cheaper than I thought to get things graded. I had a look at the ukgraders.com website this morning, and for a kind of loose figure, it was about £20 to get it graded. And in that £20, you get the presentation box. You get obviously the little certificate that they put on it. To buy those presentation boxes isn't much less than £20, I don't think, according to somebody that I've spoke to. So I don't think it's that expensive. You know, it obviously goes up. Your carded singles 28, your loose tag teams 30, your rings 65, going up to your Tonkas for 70. Which, you know, Jono, if you wanted to get all your Jakks classics done, they're 35 each. I'm sure you'll be running straight out to do that. So it isn't actually as expensive as I figured. I believe you have to give them all the information, though. I might be wrong on that, but from what I hear, you've pretty much got to tell them the script. So you'd expect if you were sending something to a professional for them to do all that, to do all the research on the figure and stuff like that, but apparently you've got to do it all. So it's not actually as expensive as I thought, but you see figures that are worth, let's say, £150, and then they'll go and get graded at 80%, and they'll stick an extra 200 quid on that. That's mind blown. Why? Why would anyone pay an extra 200 quid just for one person's opinion certificate? Blows my mind.
You have opened my eyes a little bit on that being the price of them, because I do take it back where I said about them stealing the living. It's not expensive at all, and fair enough at that price. I can go along with that. So apologies to the UKG at least. I don't know about other grading companies. So yeah, not a bad deal actually, especially when you consider the nice case and as well. Yeah, just wanted to say that before we move on.
Yeah, I mean, I would say on the the main reason that I see people that are doing it is because they complete loose Hasbros, they then complete mock Hasbros, and the next level essentially is graded Hasbros. That's the example I can think of. So it's because obviously once you complete it, they don't make them anymore. Where's to go? And I think that's the next level of splashing out or splooging on them.
Yeah, but for me personally, the next level shouldn't be just, oh, my next level up is just because it's more expensive. That's silly for me.
That is ridiculously silly. You're right, but it is the next level. Grading loose figures for me doesn't make a whole heap of sense. But what can you do? I mean, as people do it, they grade loose retros, don't they?
I think that was a good point made by Jamie. It's one I never thought about. That, you know, people who are collecting Hasbros are strictly Hasbro, so they don't go out there outside and collect elites, or they don't, you know, do the Jakks or anything like that. Grading is probably that next step. He's kind of right with that. But I still think the overriding reason is the almighty pound coin, and it, as you say, if people are getting them graded for 20 quid and can slap another 100 on top, this might be something that I might look into.
Yeah, I mean, it is that, but I saw some silly ones this morning. I saw an earthquake one where the bubble was all yellow, and it had been sent to the graders, and it had come back with Y 75% on it, which stood for yellow 75%. So there's lots of different avenues for the grading, and for me, it's like, well, if it's yellowing, you should grade it normally and take points off for the yellowing. That is like a bad point. That is a negative point. You shouldn't just say, well, let's ignore the yellow and put a Y in and then put the percentage on. That's really silly. So I think it does get into the extremes of silliness as far as that goes. There is quite a lot that they have to actually do. I mean, we were talking about what they actually do. There's a lot of what you can't do. You can't send anything incomplete. You can't send anything where the card is open or torn in any way, shape or form type of thing. You can't send anything where it's a reproduction. You can't send anything where you've touched up anything with pen or paint pen or anything like that. So I guess the people at the other side do have to do quite a job in looking at it to make sure. So I guess it is time consuming for them.
That totally makes sense, because that would just be wasting everyone's time, really, wouldn't it? So yeah, I can see why they only accept the things in good condition, I guess, and complete and that sort of thing. So yeah, totally makes sense. Another thing that we're talking about that doesn't make sense is that there seems to be, you know, there's more than, I think there's two that are main ones in the UK, UKG, and anyone else know? No. Okay, but
thanks.
There was a discussion on the groups about a month or two ago where this new graded just popped up out of nowhere, and, you know, is supposed to have some credibility. But this just brings up who grades it, who can become a grader. Anyone could do anything. And our response to that we did a little Twitter thing for Figure Friday, and I put Hulk Hogan in a Morrison's bag and wrote it was 100% complete, you know, 100% graded. That was my grading. Argue with me about that. Why can't I just go and do it?
No one did argue anything. And shout out to the HWO guys on that. But yeah, that was a few months back now. It was quite a good laugh. But yeah, I completely agree. I mean, who's to say that that we can't grade stuff if someone sends stuff to my address. I like the fact that when you see the box, when you see the grading, it's extra security, essentially, that you know that that is not a reproduction figure, that is not a touched up figure, that is an original figure. And I think in certain cases, if you're buying a 1-2-3 kid mint on card, for example, you're going to want the extra 100 quid. You don't mind paying the extra 100, 200 quid just to guarantee that that is the case. It's not a reseal. So I get it on that side of things. But if it's a Nasty Boys loose grading figure, it doesn't need it.
Yeah. I mean, you were saying, Jamie, why on earth would you grade a loose figure? The reason that I can think of that is that it is a gamble. If you send a carded figure off to them and it's anything below 75%, there's not really any point in that anymore, because the people who buy those graded figures won't buy anything below 75%. So you then, after paying the money to get that done, then take it out of the box or send it in and ask them to do it. I don't know exactly how it works. And then you can have a fresh, out-of-box, minty, loose one to be graded. And then hopefully, as long as there's nothing wrong with it once it's got out and had a look at, you can get a decent price and maybe claw your money back on that way.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can get those Hasbro figures where you just take them out of the box and they're already damaged. A mate of mine got a mint on card Bam Bam Bigelow, opened it, and all the tattoos at the back were ripped off or not present. So certainly does happen.
That's a rare variant then, isn't it?
A question that popped up there, I just thought about. Do you think there's pressure on graders to give the figures a good grade so then they get repeat business? Because they might even think in their own minds, this is below 75, but, I need to give them an 80 because if they don't get what they want, I'm not going to get any repeat business.
You'd hope not, wouldn't you? It'd be interesting to see. I've got a really beat up Brian Nobbs figure. Maybe I'll send that in. It's technically complete. Maybe I'll send that in, spend the 14 quid or whatever it is, and see what they come back with. But
that's a kind of moral issue. You can't really answer that, but it is a good one to think about, that one.
Yeah.
You'd hope not.
I think there's more questions than answers with this, with grading, I think.
Just still talking about UK graders, obviously it is big business because they're currently not taking any new orders for at least 3 months to work through what they've got. It's an 8-week turnaround, so it's not bad in the grand scale of things. You can pay extra to make it a 7-day service as well, obviously once they start taking orders again. So when I looked at it, it's not actually as bad and as expensive and as much of a faff as I thought it would be, but it's still not something that I would do.
Maybe we need to send one of us in undercover like Panorama, just try and crack into the grading system.
Yeah, you do your Louis Theroux on them and see what you can pick.
I have seen instances as well, way in the past. I don't know which company this was or anything, but I have seen instances where people sent the figure in and it came back with a low rating, with damage that they said it didn't have on when they sent it, which is obviously always a risk as well. Any different person apart from yourself handling the figure, any figure going through the post, there's always a risk, isn't there?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. You can't ever judge that. But if you want to move away from figures, you've got the card game as well, which is even bigger, to be fair. I was listening to some things where cards were going for, $25,000 and that things like that. Andre the Giant, I think there's one of them. I don't know more. But then there's, this Cardinal game thing with The Rock, and maybe I should look into getting one of them graded.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, there's no harm in getting it sent off. I don't imagine cards are overly expensive, but if I'm honest, I think I've seen somewhere people have the Hasbro figure next to the sticker. Have you seen those?
Yeah, you can choose to customize it, and you can choose to send in your own things. Obviously, they don't grade the thing that comes with it; they still just grade the figure. But it is a nice little presentation piece, and from what I understand, not much more expensive than if you bought that on its own. So,
I think I like that idea. I think if someone said, look, here's a figure from your childhood that you really enjoy. Say it's this Ahmed Johnson. If I had this from my childhood and I wanted this to get next to a picture of me with the figure as a 10-year-old, and I could send them in and someone put it in a nice display box, lovely. I'd take that all day long. But yeah, it's the grading thing that's got me a bit stumped.
Do you know what my conclusion of this is? I've come into this being quite pessimistic about grading, say I'll never do it, don't like it, and now I'm considering it. Crazy how things change.
It is. Maybe we'll.
It'd be quite good to do a follow-up video of this on the YouTube.
Yeah. Speaking of YouTube, I saw when the Major Pod did the Hasbro episode, and he got his Macho Man prototype graded, or he bought it graded, and they graded it 75%. And he said, out of what? What have they got compared it to? Because it's the only one that exists. I don't know how they've graded it 75%. And that sort of thing, I think that sort of gives it a bad name. But I see what you mean, though, Johnny. It sort of sounds a bit interesting if you've got a figure that you think's good when it's displayed.
But it's all about the money for me. It's not about display or anything. It's just about the old almighty dollar.
Fabulous moolah. Lovely. Well, I think that's brought us to a close on the old graded. Any final points on the graded from either of you?
Nope.
That was my final conclusion. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Well, your dying declaration. Well, yeah, watch this space then. If we get any updates on this, we'll make sure we pop them on the old YouTube, and we'll be back in a second with our retro review. Retro review time now. We'll be looking at all of the Mattel Legends Series 6 figures. But before we start with those, Johnny, let's have a look back at Series 5.
This was a good scoring series overall, to be fair. It got 2 new entries to the top 5. We've got Bam Bam Bigelow in at number 3, behind both the Demolition, and Rick Martel at number 4. So good scores for those guys. I thought Rick Martel might have had a chance of beating Demolition, but the guys, the audience decided against that really by scoring a fairly low, to be fair, the 8.25 average overall, where all of us have scored at 9.4 and my highest score so far, 9.9. So shame about that for me.
Yeah, I can't believe Bigelow came higher.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Poetic, isn't it? Bam Bam. I think it's just more. You look at Bam Bam and you think toy instantly. I think it's probably the.
Jamie gave it a 9.9, so he's the catalyst for that one, I guess.
It's a great figure.
As I said, the audience voted much better than Martel, so who can we argue with?
Me.
Anyway, let's move on to Series 6. And first off, I've got Eddie Guerrero, and he's got his red pants on, and it comes with a quite dull Universal Championship. I have actually changed the boots on these to change because they're kind of orange. I don't remember ever recall wearing an orange boot. So I've did a little bit of a modification on the one I'm showing. So, yep, that's Eddie from Series 6.
The trousers make this figure, really. They pop so much, the colour on those trousers. It's excellent. I used to own this one, but I sold it a long, long time ago, this one. I think the skin tone is really good on this figure. And like I said, with the trousers, I didn't really notice the boots, if I'm honest with you. I don't like the facial expression on this, especially when it comes in the box that shows him with a really good smirk. And the facial expression is just a kind of side movement. I don't think it's much of a smirk to me. What else did I write? I actually like the belt because the other version of the Undisputed title is really massive and long and silly. So I think this version of the Undisputed title is so much better than that one. It's a nice figure. It pops, but it isn't perfect by any means.
Yeah, I mean, you say that about the big Undisputed, which came with Brock Lesnar, but you also got a newly released one, which came with The Undertaker, and it's the same size. So
yeah, you're right.
be fair, I was displaying it with the shinier one, and I've just went and got this from upstairs because I just got it in a bundle. Just wanted to show what actually come with the Eddie Guerrero. So this is what it'll be scored.
They'll probably go back to that dull version. They seem to be doing that.
Yeah, it's mental how they're going backwards in terms of those belts. It's a shame, really, because they were really well done in this. It was called a VAC type of production.
Not a BCA. Let's be confused. You got dyslexia. Just a chat. What sort of era Eddie is this?
It'll be like the 2004 where he just won the Universal. Sorry,
Oh, yes, that makes sense. Coming with the title, actually. So then after the only picture I've seen is ones without the title, so I guess that makes sense. Sort of the JBL feud, Eddie.
Yeah. I mean, Adam commented on the skin tone. I actually think it's too dark for Eddie around this time. He was quite, to be fair. But, probably a bit too dark, where others have always been too light.
I agree with Adam. I think the face-wise, it doesn't really do it for me. So I hadn't noticed the boots overly too much, but we'll be looking out from now. But I think it's just the face-wise. It doesn't really need to either go full smirk or don't do one at all. Don't do one in the middle for me. But
I quite like the face. Strange. I like it.
I've actually noticed if you actually take a look, just diverting away very slightly, you actually take a look at Mattel's Mexican figure releases, almost all of them have smirks. It's very strange.
Very Mexican-y.
Yeah, you've got Garza smirk, Carrillo smirk, Escobar smirk. They all come with a smirk near enough.
Del Rio.
Maybe not. I'm sure there is a version, but
I wonder if something to do. I guess majority of Mexican wrestlers tend to play that sort of cheeky role where they smirk a lot. So I guess it sort of fits in a way, but yeah.
Scores on the doors.
Mexicans. 7.2 I went with on this. Only because the face for me doesn't really do it. I think they could have maybe whacked the t-shirt they put with the later Eddie on there, but no. What was for me?
7.8 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to score it because there's so many things that are just wrong with it. So I think it's a little bit better than the 7.2, but not much better. And I'll go with a 7.3. Tough one to score that, I think.
That is better than a 7.2. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's slightly better. Next up, let's move on to it's Curry Von Erich, not the Texas Tornado version, Adam. Me and Adam had a quick discussion about him a few weeks ago because he was trying to sell Curry Von Erich, which he thought was a different figure. This is the Curry Von Erich and not Texas Tornado. So white trunks, black knee pads, white boots. Not really much to that. There's no logos on the trunks. Got an eagle or a bird, some sort of bird on the back of the robe, on the blue robe.
So I'm going to assume this is WCCW time.
Yep.
Around that era of kind of mid to late 80s.
That's correct, yes.
Strange choice by Mattel.
The choice, this is actually down to our friend is it Gavin, who did the Legends blog. He let us know that, sorry, it's Stuart, isn't it?
Yeah, not Gavin.
Sorry, Stuart, yeah. In the Legends blog, and he enlightened us that the Kevin and Curry Von Erich were originally meant to be the second series of the 2-packs. So this is why they've come out separately in this series later. So yeah, that might be the reason why you're confused with the release. Would have been better as a 2-pack, I think.
Yeah, good knowledge.
For me, my only history of the Von Erichs before Texas Tornado was from the Dark Side of the Ring. When you first get to sort of the first look I had of them. And as wrestlers, I said they're relatively bland what they wore, weren't they? They were big, muscular guys that wore plain trunks, really. So I think they've done what they can with the figure, as much as a strange choice as it is. But we're not. This isn't called a choice review, is it? Which is we're here to review the figures. I think they've done all they can do with it.
Yeah, it's one of those that falls into the category of simple but done well, maybe. What do you guys think?
Yeah, in a way.
Nice touch with the claw as well, obviously, for his hand.
Yes, that was a good thing I forgot about, claw hand. I'm going to keep myself with a score because it is so simple. I probably couldn't go too far above a 7. In fact, I'm just going to give it a 7.0.
Oh, it's better than a 7 for me. 7.1.
You just taking the mick now, Jamie.
I'm not impressed. The figure bores me. 6.7.
Lovely. And speaking of that 2-pack that we've just been alluding to, is Kevin Von Erich. So Kevin is in red trunks, red knee pads, and he's barefoot, which he traditionally wrestled, with a kind of Texas style jacket, which is pretty nice, to be fair. I think they've captured his face likeness quite well. It's not a bad one.
I think for me, go ahead.
Go on,
you crack on.
Right, I've owned this figure. I don't have it anymore, but I've owned it. The jacket almost feels like a crisp packet to me. It's very crispy, the ones that I've had. I don't think the reproductions ones that I've had. Facial wise, yeah, I mean, he's a very, very unique looking man, let's just say. And I think the face captures it. The no shoes, no boots thing is a really, really good addition to the figure and a great addition for customizers as well. An expensive addition, but a great addition. I really like this figure. It does everything that the last figure that we just didn't do. It's simple, but it's very effective.
Yeah, completely agree. I was what I was going to say was pretty much that. I think it's how you go. I think the Kerry Von Erich one was done well. This is done really, really well. I haven't felt the jacket, I haven't had it at hand, but it looks good. But yeah, it's very simple, and it still somehow manages to look toyetic. And I noticed the hand a bit more on this one than I did the Kerry Von Erich.
I've displayed it upwards, that's why.
No, it could be one. Yeah. I think even in the picture that I saw, I think it's even up on that one as well.
Maybe. Scores then?
I'll kick us off. Considering it is so simple, I've gone quite high on this, giving it 8.5.
Oh. I went even 8.
I was thinking high 7, so 7.8. Yeah.
High 7.
Well done. So we just talked about Curry, but now we've got the Texas Tornado, which ironically has Curry on the back. So this is when he debuted in the WWF. It's slightly different to what he wore at SummerSlam, but strangely, it was the version he wore in an interview for SummerSlam. And then he came out wearing white trunks instead of yellow. Don't know why. I always remember that because I had the VHS. This one, a lot more detail than the first one, really. You've got logo, a tornado logo on the trunks. Got more detail in the jacket. And, 2 different knee pads and then your tassels on the boots. That's pretty good, that one.
Any chances here?
That was the VHS indeed, Jamie.
Yeah,
SummerSlam 90.
1990, where he faced Mr. Perfect. Lovely. So I think toyetic white, but Mr. Perfect, Texas Tornado for me is always the Hasbro figure, my fondest memory of him in that. So I'd quite like to have seen him go match the outfit from that, like they have done with previous figures. Before this, I think the colours look really nice on it. The jacket looks relatively fine. You've got the claw hands, you've got the little logo on the back, you've got the tassels. What more could you want?
My question for you, Jonny, I mean, we spoke about the fact that I thought this was the Kerry Von Erich, and that is because of the jacket and because of the name on that jacket. Did he always wear something saying Kerry, or did he wear something saying Texas or Tornado or something?
I don't know if he did, but this is, historically accurate. It is what he wore at the SummerSlam 90. Right. He did have Curry on the back, and he was, described as the Texas Tornado Kerry Von Erich. It wasn't as if he was like, the dragon not Ricky Steamboat as they try to do with Ricky Steamboat in the 90s.
Even the back of the VHS, we can see it says Texas Tornado as his nickname, Kerry Von Erich, which...
Yeah, they didn't try and hide it. To sum it up, it does everything that the Kerry Von Erich figure doesn't do. It's a nice figure, and it's got lots of redeeming attributes about it, which you've covered.
Okay. Good thing it doesn't come with a detachable foot. No, I think it was before his accident, wasn't it? Bless him.
I think anything's detachable in the old customizing game, Adam.
It is indeed.
But I would quite like to see them re-release a Texas Tornado figure, because I think a lot of people were big fans of him back in the childhood. So quite good to see another one released.
Yeah, and to your point, they could release it in red like the Hasbro. So that, you know, we've talked about this before, where they've released figures and they've done them in the Hasbro style. So that's another logical way to go if they ever do release another Texas Tornado.
Yeah, be good to see. With the headband and so on. Be good. Lovely. Well, shall I kick us off?
Go for it.
Lovely. 7.8 I went for on this one. I thought it was good. I thought it was simple. I thought it was done well. But as I said, just for me, it didn't get me in the feels as much as I was hoping for it.
I think
Low
it's
8.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
8.1 for me.
8.1. Yeah. I was just going to say it's my first 8 of the series, and I was thinking 8.3. It's pretty good. Yes, I certainly think it's above an 8. And let's move on to the final one of the series. It is the Ultimate Warrior, and this is the WrestleMania 6 version. All orange, as you know, you can picture in your mind. You know it's probably one of the most iconic Ultimate Warrior attires, but he's got the wrong belt. He's got a yellow winged eagle belt, which never existed. Strange one.
Very strange why they've done that. Re-released, of course, in a later series, wasn't it?
Which doesn't help, no.
Doesn't help. Obviously, we're pretending that we haven't seen that one. We're just going off this figure. But the belt-wise is very strange for me, especially if you put him in the WrestleMania 6 one. If you put it with an IC, was it a yellow IC in the...
Yep.
Yeah. So I think they're just sort of combined the two, haven't they? But yeah. As a figure, it's a lovely figure. It's nostalgic. It's great, but strange choices.
It's a big mistake to make. You'd think somebody would have thought and mentioned it before it went to production. It's a huge mistake to make. The figure itself is lovely. One of my favourite figures is the Jakks Classics Series 1 Ultimate Warrior. And this obviously is the Mattel version of it. So it's one of my personal favourites. But yeah, huge mistake.
Yeah, I've got to agree. You know, the figure's done really well. There's probably no real down points to it figure-wise. It's just the accessory is completely inaccurate. Real blunder with that one. So it's probably going to cost it at least 1 point in the scores for me.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, because as you can see on the front of the VHS, he's wearing a yellow IC title as a case of reference for anyone watching the YouTube. So yeah, apart from that, figure really nice, well done, but it's just a little slight mistake. So 7.3 for me.
Oh, costly mistake.
8.5 for me.
Yeah, I would probably say around the 9 mark, but because of the belt, I'd have to go for an 8.4 because it is better than Kerry Von Erich. Sorry, Texas Tornado, in my opinion. So there we have it. That rounds out Series 6.
Probably been a bit too harsh on that one, haven't I?
Maybe.
With my scores, but yeah.
You want to change your mind before it's too late?
No. I'd stuck with it as sort of what I've written down. So as it is written, it shall be forsaken. I don't know what the words are, what they say in films. But yeah, I think it's just the belts for me. It doesn't make any sense. Either give him 2 belts or give him the IC or the world title separately. don't combine the two and try and pull it off. Doesn't make any sense. That's why they've been docked points. That'll teach him a tale, won't it?
Yes, Billy boy.
Lovely. So what have we got next? Are we doing? What's next week?
Next week we'll maybe look at the tag team series. So that's the series 1 of the tag teams. Got the Bushwhackers, Piper and Orton.
Yep.
And Sheik and Volkov.
Lovely viewers. Well, make sure that you make notes of those for next week and score along with us for our Facebook page. But as for now, I believe that's it for the episode. Jonny,
Indeed.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for your reviewing scores.
I made it through.
Yes. And Adam, thank you for coming back.
Better than ever.
Better than ever. Lovely. Right, we'll see you later, boys. And all the best.
Pleasure.